Welcome everyone to class 9 of our FastAPI course. Until now, we learned how to send data using path parameter, like when we find a user with roll number 5. And this is covered in our last class, the class 8th. And today we are going to learn how to use query parameters, how to make them optional or give default values. So if you are new on this channel, don't forget to subscribe and like. Let's start today class. And if you don't subscribe till now, please subscribe it. Here you will find the playlist of Django mostly asked interview question, FastAPI for complete beginner friendly course. This class is the part of this playlist. Check this, share with your friend. Let's start today class. As you see, I open my VS Code editor, and here I am going to create class 9 9.i. This is our first API app name for today class. In our last class, we learned how to send data using path parameter like user and the roll number to search the user with roll number 5 in path parameter. We pass this thing in URL. But what if we want to filter or search or sort data, like if you want to search the products with category books, and if you want to search the users which are active, which are logging. So how you will filter and search this type of data in your path parameter, and this all will done using query parameter. And today is the agenda is this, how to apply query parameters and how to make them optional or give default values. So let's start the coding part. Before going to start the query coding part, I want to understand you what is query parameters. So I write a simple definition as well as the example. The query parameters are a key value pairs added after the question in the URL, question mark in the URL. What is query parameter? Query parameter are the key value pairs added after the question sign in the URL. This is the example. So search after the question mark, the name is Ali and the age is 25. So this is the example to find the student with name Ali and with age 25. So they are not part of the URL path. Make sure this in your mind. They are not part of the URL path. They are used for searching, filtering or sorting. I hope this will make sense for you and you are clear about what is query parameter. So query parameters are a key value pairs added after the question sign in the URL. They are not part of the URL path. They are used for searching, filtering or sorting. Let's start the coding part to understand each and everything. From FastAPI, I am going to import FastAPI. From typing, I am going to import optional only, and then so here I am going to create app.get create def create user with name and the data type will be string for the name. and then I am going to return a message with name hello. So first of all, I am going to on my app unicorn class 9 app reload. Our app is running on this IP address and the port is 8000. Copy this link or follow link. Some errors. FastAPI takes one positional argument but two were given. Clear this, save this. As you see, our app is running successfully and I am getting not found. And if I visit that time, I am getting some errors. The type is missing, field required, the message is field required. And inside terminal, you see 404 not found. This will return when no matching URL found. And when I go to the grid to visit grid, that time I am getting 422 unprocessable entity. Why this? This is the FastAPI status code and this is 22. This grid is accepting the name and I am not passing any name. And if I pass the name with Ahmad, the key is name and the value is Ahmad, that time I am getting the message hello Ahmad. So it means our request successfully response with 200 code. Let me show you, and I am going to try in Swagger documents. Let me click on this, test this endpoint of my API. Click on try it out, and here I am going to pass. This is the required name is required. I have to must pass this name Ahmad. I am going to pass Ahmad, and if I see I am getting the status code 200, this means our API is giving us successful response with message hello Ahmad. This message comes from here, from our endpoint, from this function. When this endpoint hits, this function will run and this response will see the user. And today most important topic is optional query parameter with default. If you want to make query parameter optional, we can give default values. How we will give the default value? Let me explain this with the help of code. I am going to create another endpoint. Welcome. Div welcome name string, and the default value will be guest. Return message welcome the name. In this part of code, now even if you don't give the name, it will show the guest by default. Let me show you in browser. To try it out this, I refresh this URL for Swagger documentation, and now I am going to test this. Click on try it out. As you see, by default is guest. If I execute this API will run successful response 200 and string by default. And if I going to pass some name here Ahmad, and if I execute this, and we have to pass here / welcome, and if I execute this, you will see I am getting response 200, response body message welcome guest, and if I pass, then you will see I am getting welcome avatar. So in this way you will apply the optional query parameter with default. So here you are applying, this is the example of applying the default values to query parameters. So this is the example of default values to query parameter. Now it's time to understand with the help of optional how we will apply the optional on query parameter. Before going to apply the query parameter, I want to understand you how you can apply multiple query parameter, and I hope this question arises in your mind as well, how we will apply the multiple query parameters. So let's see with the help of example app.get search def search item, and name will be str, category will be of data type of string, and I am going to pass the default value for category is general. After that, return dictionary with search for the name, and the category will be category. So in this code, if category is not given, it will be general by default. If category is not given, that time the by default category will be general. Let's hit this endpoint from Swagger documentation to check this API. Try it out. The name is required, but the category by default is general. I am going to pass the name, search for the name book, and the category will be by default general. Let's execute this. See the response. 200 is the status code, means our API is returning the response, and in response body we are getting the search for the book, and the category by default is general. And if I change this category for the book, and I want to get the book from category education, let me run this, and education, here you see in the response body. I hope this will make sense for you, how you will apply the default parameter and how you will apply the multiple query parameters in FastAPI. Now it's time to apply for the optional query parameters. To understand optional query parameter, I want to define some list. This list name is student, and inside list I have a dictionary with for the student with ID 1, name is Ali, and class, and for the student ID will be 2, the name is Sarah, and class will be 9. So I define a dictionary list inside this variable students. Let me quickly app.get students def students class name will be string I want to make this optional, and I am going to pass string, and by default this will be none. Class name by default will be none. If class underscore name filtered, I'm going to pass for s in students if s class equal to class name, and then I am going to store in s. Then I am going to return filtered students filtered, and if not, then in else part I am going to return all students. What happening here, if we use optional and we define the data type for this query parameter is string, and by default value is none. So to make query parameter optional, we use optional, and the query parameter data type is class name. If class is given, it filter by class. If not, it return as students. Save the code. First to check without class name. I execute this and I am getting as students data without class name. And if I pass the class name here class name is 10, then I am getting the two students data with class name 10, Ali and Hamza. Let's confirm this, the class name of these in our code. Here you see the two students with class 10. So in this way you will apply the optional, default, multiple query parameters in FastAPI. I hope this will make sense for you. If any doubt till now, please comment it. I am here to clear your doubts. Let me quickly explain all the code which I write it for you. From FastAPI, import FastAPI. We are importing the FastAPI class to create our web app. And on the next line, I am importing from typing import optional. We import the optional which is used when a variable can be given or not given, and we understand how we will apply this. After that, here app equal to FastAPI. This line creates an instance of our FastAPI application. This line is creating the instance of our FastAPI application. It's like saying I am building a FastAPI app. This line is saying basically I am building a FastAPI app. So this line creates an instance of our FastAPI application. And this line, this is a route decorator. It means when someone visits greet using a get request, run the function below. When someone visits the greet using a get request, this is the get request. So when someone visits this greet using a get request, run the function below. This function will run, and this is the response when this function will run. And then in here, this is also a route decorator. It means when someone visits the welcome using get request, run the function below, and the by default value for query parameter is guest. If user not pass the name, then we understand with the help of multiple query parameters. And after that, here this is nothing but a simple list of student dictionaries like our mini database, and each student has ID. A unique ID is basically a unique number to identify a unique student, and the name is for the name of student, and the class they belong to. So they are hard coded just for practice. After that, we have this code. This is also a root decorator. It means when someone visits the students using a get request, when someone visits the students using the get request, run the function below. And on this line, def get underscore student, this is the function that will run when someone visits students. This function will run when someone visits the students, and inside this I am passing class name. This is the query parameter, and here I am using the optional. It means the value is a string and is optional. The value for this query parameter is data type will be a string and it is optional, and equal to none. It means if the user does not send this parameter, it will be none by default. And if class name, here if class name, this checks did the user send the query parameter class name. If yes, then inside this if, yes, go inside the if. If no, then go outside the if. If yes, then go inside the if. And here this is basically this part of code is basically a list comprehension used to filter students. Let's explain simply. First of all, for S in students, loop through each S student in the students list. Students is the list, and loop through each student using S. Keep only those where S the students with class equal to class name. Keep only those where the student with class equal to the class name, means the class name is 10. So if the user send students here and then the class name is 10, I am just writing this for you. This is not here, this is not the part of the code. So if the user sends student question marks class underscore name equal to 10, only class 10 students are picked. This is the meaning of this line. And after that, I am going to return, we will return the filter list as a dictionary like here. Let me clear this, save this, and after that we are returning the student filter underscore students. We return the filter list as a dictionary. How many students belong to class name 10? If name is not provided by the user, that time this part of code will return all students. If class name was not provided, this line runs. It means return all students in the list. We see how we will URL without query, and then URL with query, the student with class name. So now it's time for the homework or assignment. Create a FastAPI application with a single endpoint that accepts a query parameter called name. Create an API which will accept the name books. Accept optional author as a query parameter. If author is provided, return books by that author. If not provided, return all books. Use a list of 4 books with different authors. I hope this is the simple task for you. Do it with yourself. Don't use the chat GPT or other. Don't help. Uh, take don't take any help from these. Do it with yourself. In this way, you will learn the things. I hope you will do this. If any doubt in this homework or assignment, I am here to clear your doubts. Share with your friends. Please comment this homework assignment in this lecture. Thanks for watching.